We are at IIT Delhi at the Alumni Convention 2013 in conversation with Professor Indranil Manna, who is the current director at IIT Kanpur. Welcome, sir, on the show. And my first question to you would be, what is the vision behind such a convention? What is the idea?
In one word, it's reaching out. Until now, all alumni meet used to be held primarily in IIT Kanpur campus itself. But the Alumni Association this time, they raised an issue. They said many alumni are unable to come to Kanpur because of distance, problems of communication, and also, there are other difficulties. So they wanted to do it in one of the metropolitan cities, and Delhi obviously was first choice. And they plan to do it actually now onwards in different cities, different metropolitan cities. The primary aim was to be able to have many more alumni joining the show. And in that respect, I think it's a fairly successful show because I'm told something like about 800 or close to 1,000 people have registered and have come with their families, children, and many stalwarts actually who are big names in the country in different fora. They have also participated. So it's a very successful event, I would say.
Okay, and what do you think could be done to improve such an event, and what is probably the best thing which has happened today, what people would really take away from here?
I think one of the I must say one of the most important thing was the very inauguration function where Dr. Subbarao, who apart from being an alumnus of IIT Kanpur also happens to be the chairman of the governor of the Reserve Bank of India, he gave an absolutely a very wise and very knowledgeable speech, listed out some 10 different issues before the country for its economic growth, for its development, for its technological roadmap that it should follow. And following some of the deliberations that followed after his speech, I think these were the real gains of this particular event or deliberations. In the afternoon, we had a session where I think about more than half a dozen government bureaucrats who are secretaries in different government departments. They spoke about the roadmap and the role model IITs should follow, and people participated. But I think more than anything else, what is really important is that people who are even 70, 80 years old, they felt compulsion to come and join and participate actively. This itself is a big achievement. So again, I would say there's a very successful initiative.
Okay, since you mentioned Dr. Subbarao's speech, so in one of the challenges to the Indian economy today, he laid out that technology and innovative solutions to increase productivity in various sectors of the economy, that is a major challenge which is there. So where do you see IIT as an institute, and particularly IIT Kanpur, how is it staged? How is it poised at this stage to make a contribution in the area?
I faced a very similar question today afternoon from one of the TV channels, and let me repeat. The primary mandate of IITs is to impart education and pursue research of the highest order. That IITs have been doing all along, and they have done it with a fair amount of success. What possibly we haven't been very successful so far is to be able to translate our research into viable products and technologies. We have done that. There are a number of good examples, bright examples. We have our exploits have been used tremendously by government departments, space, atomic energy, or defense, even private sector companies. But the numbers are not too many, and that should be many more. We haven't created very many jobs. We haven't created industries which would open up new entrepreneurs, new enterprises. So translation of knowledge into products and technologies should be our major agenda ahead. And in addition, I must say that we should also prove ourselves relevant to the society. So apart from doing research of highest order, we must also take care of projects or carry out projects which can make little bit improvement in the life of a daily wager or a local contractor or a local manufacturer. In fact, Dr. Subbarao mentioned about the necessity of IITs contributing in the manufacturing sector, and I fully agree that we must really do something immediately so that the manufacturing sector benefits from the knowledge and expertise of IITs.
Okay, and since, sir, you've joined recently as the director at IIT Kanpur, what is your specific vision which is there for IIT Kanpur? Is there like a specific agenda, one goal which you really want to see happen during your tenure?
I must admit that I was busy writing manuscripts and taking classes or preparing for lectures, and I never dealt with something called files. And being a director of an IIT, most of my time goes in, taking care of different files for various issues. But that's part of the job, and another important assignment is that I must listen to people and understand the ground reality and then take appropriate action. So you're very right, I'm very new to it. So that's in a way my disadvantage, but also a big advantage because I don't carry any baggage. So I look at everything as a new thing or a fresh thing, and I try to apply my mind and common sense and try to approach that problem. Now, talking about my priorities, I would say that possibly there are many, but at the moment I would just point out three major things. One is the academic output and quality of output from IIT Kanpur, in my opinion, needs to be significantly improved. We were certainly the topmost school of the country in engineering and technology. I'm not sure whether we can say the same thing now with similar conviction. So we must regain our lost glory. Number two is the infrastructure in terms of available facilities and instruments or communication ease or approachability to the campus, various other things. Infrastructure needs to be immediately improved within the campus. And the third thing is, I talked about quality of output, but the quality of output, scientific output, cannot be improved unless we have also adequate quality faculty, students, scholars, and I would like to seriously see if we can introduce a very vibrant postdoctoral culture and research engineers, even scholars who are working in project staff. So all of them would require also a little bit of rethinking in our academic setup, particularly in the postgraduate level. We must realize that IITs were built not necessarily to address the undergraduate education alone. So we need to do a lot in terms of postgraduate education. And if you have to cater to postgraduate education and research, then you have to have many project staff. And you have to give them a good option for pursuing higher studies. So we are thinking of introducing certain other programs other than the regular MTech program, and also create some other possibilities of those who are unable to complete PhD within a time frame, whether we can give them some other option. So these are the things which are very much on my agenda.
Okay. And since you mentioned so much about research and the importance of IIT as an institute for academic excellence and not necessarily anything else, do you think there has been a shift in aspirations of students from probably your time to the students who are there now, given that generally that's the general perception that academics is not their topmost priority. After getting into IIT, the topmost priority is about getting a high-paying job. So that, in a sense, is kind of contradicting with your idea on your vision of seeing it as an institute of academic excellence where postgraduate courses and all of that are going to be a major way forward. So how do you see this as a contradiction? Do you see this as a general change which is going to take place in any society, the dynamics? What are your comments on this?
We are dealing with human beings, so we cannot program and say that you should only aspire for Nobel Prize and not Nobel Prize but with no money. Right? So we have to create an ambience where an young individual, is attracted or starts aspiring towards the highest possible level in science and technology without worrying much about money. Now, for example, as an IIT faculty member, we earn a very handsome salary today, and we have a very good, I would say, secured life in the society. And in my opinion, this is probably better than many other high-paying jobs in the country. If I can compare the certain aspects and consider that to be equivalent to money. Now, considering about whether the students are a bit digressed or not, probably they are, but the society is responsible for that. An individual basically grows up with his or her aspirations, and the aspirations are formed with direct influence from the society. So instead of blaming the students, I would rather say that it should start from the parents and the society. And then I must also say that these are very bright kids. So if you throw them the right challenge, if they are really challenged, they'll live up to the expectation. So this is where probably we have failed. We have to create such ambience of challenge so that they are drawn towards science and technology more than just aspiring for a job in a financial sector.
Okay, and my last question to you would be on a very light note. It's basically about when you revisit your days in IIT Kanpur as a student. So, what are some fond memories which you would like to share with us? Some incident, some anecdote, something.
I used to dread the monkeys in Western Lab. Fortunately, there are not that many. Instead, I see many more peacocks, so they don't scare me. I had extraordinary teachers, so inspiring, and some of them, in my opinion, can still be branded as a role model as a teacher. We had excellent infrastructure, probably better than any other institute at that point of time, which unfortunately is not the case at the moment. I think I started probably dreaming about a lot better only when I came to Kanpur. In fact, one of my first reaction about IIT Kanpur, why I thought it was a great place, was when I saw a billiard board in my hostel, and I wrote to one of my friends that, can you believe that my hostel has a billiard board? And I'm talking about 1983.
So, one last thing, what message would you like to give to the students and the faculty members or any of the viewers?
IITs stand for excellence and nothing less than excellence. We all should believe and pursue that. And I want every student to believe that they are extremely privileged to be in IIT. And if they don't do it, there's nobody else who is going to do that for this country.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking out your time with us. Thank you.